In the Egyptian temple of Taposiris Magna, archaeologists have found a magnificent tunnel. Excavations have started in an effort to locate the long-lost tomb of ancient Egyptian pharaoh Cleopatra because its location accords with ideas of where her body was interred. Welcome to Ancient History. In this video, we're going to discover the untold story about Cleopatra's lost tomb and the lost treasures of Egypt. The Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt was controlled by Cleopatra VII from 51 BC until her demise in 30 BC. She had several relationships with politicians throughout her reign as queen, most notably with the Roman leaders Marc Antony and Julius Caesar. Her connections were well known throughout the history, even serving as the basis for the action in William Shakespeare's play Antony and Cleopatra. Her rule and romantic relationships altered the course of history. Rome seized control of Egypt when she was defeated by the Roman Empire. Cleopatra took her own life to avoid being displayed as a victory prize for the Romans. Her passing ushered in the end of the Hellenistic era. It is a classic example of a misguided love story. The scandalous relationship between Roman general Marcus Antonius and Queen Cleopatra VII, as well as their terrible deaths, have been told throughout history. Somewhere in Egypt, they are interred together and doze off forever. Though where? Although there are persistent rumors that archaeologists are close to finding the tomb, its exact location has been long lost to history. Yet, apparently, out of the reach, the alluring potential of what its wisdom and treasures remains present. Should it be found untouched, Cleopatra's tomb would probably be one of the greatest treasures ever known to humanity, with the potential to surpass Howard Carter's discoveries and the tomb of Tutankhamun. When Octavian persuaded the Roman Senate to wage war on Cleopatra of Egypt in 32 BC, it was the culmination of a long-running conflict with Cleopatra's lover Marcus Antonius, also known as Marc Antony. Octavian had been successful in persuading Rome that Marc Antony was turning a traitor, was unworthy of the Roman people because of his relationship with Cleopatra, and posed a threat to Roman power. The conflict was later referred to as the Final War of the Roman Republic. This would have also placed Cleopatra in the role of the dutiful mourning wife Isis for posterity to see. To the Egyptian public, it would have sent the message that the godlike power of the pharaohs could not be extinguished by Roman savagery, the king explained. Glad to see you're still interested. Join us here at Ancient History on a journey of exploration and mystery by digging up that subscribe button. Suetonius and Plutarch, two Roman authors, claim that the victorious Octavian permitted Antony and Cleopatra to be interred together in the tomb that they had already started. According to Plutarch, Octavian had instructed that Marc Antony be incinerated and that Cleopatra's remains should be interred with the Antony in glorious and regal manner. Suetonius, however, refuted the claim that Marc Antony was incinerated. According to the historian, the tragically married couple were both given graves and were interred together. Antony was not even cremated. The Osiris Temple in Taposiris Magna, south of Alexandria, is where some members of the Egyptian Antiquities Department think Suetonius is buried. The location of the tomb is still unofficially known and disputed, despite the fact that this is still a working notion among those digging at the site. Archaeologists had initially concentrated their search on a site near Alexandria where they believed the tomb to be. During an earthquake that occurred in the 8th century, the location is now under the water. Taposiris Magna, however, came to the attention of the public thanks to the efforts of renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass and Dominican lawyer, archaeologist and diplomat Kathleen Martinez. When Hawass stated in 2009 that archaeologists working at the site might be close to discovering the tomb, these statements received considerable attention. The charming and energetic Hawass, who is seldom seen without his signature Indiana Jones fedora, is a particular favorite of the media for all things Egyptian. His credentials as an archaeologist, Egyptologist, and former Minister of State for Antiquity Affairs are impeccable, despite claims that he exaggerated and played to the media. His support for the allegations could not be simply refuted. In 1998, excavations at Taposiris Magna began. By 2006, they had moved on to the temple honoring the goddess Isis, one of 3 locations they thought would include the tomb of Antony and Cleopatra. Mummies in the Greco-Roman style that were all interred with their faces turned towards the temple were found in the cemetery that was found behind the temple. The assumption that it was a sign that a grave of great significance to the Greek Ptolemaic monarchy was interred inside the temple was made right away. Since Cleopatra was of Greek origin, she quickly came to mind. She served as Egypt's final pharaoh during the Ptolemaic era. Cleopatra was the only Ptolemaic pharaoh to study Egyptians because of their commitment to their Greek ancestry. The dynasty had previously ruled Egypt as Hellenistic Greek kings and had only ever spoken Greek. Zahi Hawass, then Secretary General of the SCA, Reuters, was sure that the discoveries at Taposiris Magna proved the mythology, despite research that claimed the tradition of Cleopatra's beauty had been embellished. He aggressively rejected other people's conclusions in his usual manner. Martnes, who takes pride in being the only woman who dares enter the labyrinths, and Hawass appear to have completely different personalities. Without Cleopatra, Martnes would have chosen to pursue her scholastic interest in law rather than her love for Egyptology, never becoming an archaeologist. That is, up until a 1990 disagreement with her father about the merits of her biography. Martnes appears to have identified with Cleopatra in what she saw a pharaoh who triumphed in spite of Roman propaganda and decades of discrimination and sexism against women. Her investigation produced an astonishing hypothesis, according to which Cleopatra had thought of herself as an embodiment of Isis. She was, therefore, probably interred close to a temple to the deity. Since the notion directly changed the widely held belief that the Cleopatra tomb at the Alexandrian palace was now submerged, Martnes was compelled to provide funding for the initial exhibitions at Taposiris Magna. By 2012, there was a conflict at the spot where people were searching. One of the labyrinths is claimed to be causing Bedouin tribesmen growing amounts of worry because they believe anyone who goes in there vanishes forever. The truth is that the dig had become more plagued with unexpected historical artifacts such as explosives and bodies from the Second World War's fight of El Alamein, despite the fact that the claims of curses are just rumors. The excavations were put on hold in 2013 after General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the head of Egypt's army, disposed President Mohamed Morsi, who had been elected democratically. Because of the commotion, Martnes was unable to renew her work permit because all archaeological offices around the nation were practically closed. The French undersea archaeologist Franck Gaudiot created these original notions. Gaudiot was responsible for the excavation of Eastern Canopus and Antirodus in Alexandria's Old Harbour, as well as the discovery of the sunken city of Thonis Heraklion and Aboukir Bay. Yet, not a single Ptolemaic kingdom tomb has ever been discovered, and although it appears likely that they have been ever interred nearby the Alexandrian royal palace, that is by no means guaranteed. Taposiris Magna was still conducting a lot of important archaeology, notwithstanding the disagreement over the allegations that Cleopatra was there. The foundation stones made of limestone that originally lined the temple's entryway were uncovered by the combined team in 2010. They discovered a superbly preserved statue of Ptolemy IV next to the temple's original gate the same year. The discovery of several artifacts inside the tunnel adds to the evidence that the Cleopatra tomb might be nearby. Due to the water found under the temple, 2 mummies with gold leaf-wrapped tongues were discovered in a terrible state of preservation. The fact they had golden tongues made it obvious that they belonged to society's upper level and might have dealt with Cleopatra personally. While many cling to the belief that Kathleen Martnes has channeled part of the spirit of Cleopatra as a powerful lone voice in the world of men, it's possible that the hopes of discovering a second Tutankhamun's tomb were tragically dashed long ago. Maybe that's exactly how Antony and Cleopatra would have wished to spend their eternal rest, entombed for all time, never to be disturbed. Regardless of whether tombs are discovered, a full excavation of these ruins could reveal more information about the enigmatic Old City. Pottery fragments and a rectangular slab of limestone have already been found in the tunnel. But that will be all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe to Ancient History for more updates on discoveries that will amaze you. Also, check out the other videos on this channel for more interesting discoveries, and we'll see you in the next one.